Hey guys, what is up, and I welcome each and every one of you to a new League of Legends video. In this one, guys, we're going to be doing a very special video, actually a pretty exciting one too. So Riot has just released a new post talking about Mundo's rework, Mundo's VGU, because as I'm sure you guys already are aware, right, Mundo is getting he's the next champion to get a rework, right? There's gonna be a bunch of new champions, and then of course the Mundo rework after that. So Riot is here with the first post talking about the Mundo rework, what they're planning to do, and just information regarding it. So guys, let's just get this started. Let's read through it together. If you enjoy and are excited, don't forget to hit that like button, but let's just jump right into it. I'm excited to see what Riot is gonna do to our favorite masochist in League of Legends. So guys, get it started. So as you mentioned in our champion roadmap, by the way, guys, I have made a video about this. If you haven't seen it, check it out, right? This is where they initially announced the Mundo rework right here, you can see. Dr. Mundo is up next for a VGU in 2021. We showed a lot of work in progress during Fiddles and Volley's VGUs, and we plan to do the same with Mundo. Our hope is that by showing the directions and plans for VGUs early... Okay, we won't care about that part, so let's go ahead in here. Okay, here we go. Let's start by talking a little bit about why we chose Dr. Mundo for a VGU and what our goals are. So I'm actually curious why Mundo, to be completely honest. I personally want a Shyvana, but I'm down for Mundo. Honestly, one of the main reasons we wanted to update Dr. Mundo is because of how dated his visuals have become. Mundo sticks out like a sore thumb in the current roster of champions. We felt like there was a lot of potential to really upgrade Mundo's visuals and theme to not only look better, but to fit in better with how League's visual style has evolved over the years. So let me know, do you guys agree with that? Yes or no? I kind of agree, but I also think, honestly, of all the champions, I think Mundo's aged actually quite nicely, to be completely honest. Like, he is out of date, but honestly, it doesn't look as bad as I think maybe they think it does. Anyways, we also think there's room for gameplay improvement to Mundo's kit. He has a lot that currently works well for him, like his super tank regeneration and the ability to constantly chuck cleavers, both of which you can expect to stay in some form or another after his update. So that's a confirmation right there, guys. Confirmation right there. So in terms of what's going to be his new kits and abilities, right? So apparently he is still going to be a super tank regeneration type champion, so that's still going to be a thing, and he's still going to be chucking cleavers to I mean, more or less a certain the same state that it is right now, which is pretty good. Another major goal for Mundo's gameplay is to keep him a very simple champion. We want to build more mastery into his kits, but not the kind of mastery that will suddenly require you to have lightning fast reflexes, so expect his kit complexity to stay pretty similar. So the first thing I think of is Hecarim's W. Not a complex ability whatsoever, actually quite simple, but you know, still using it at the right time is really, really important. And I think it's going to be something like that. So with these goals in mind, let's check it out. Alright, so the gameplay designer, what does he have to say? A medical license to kill. So most League players probably have a memory, or several, of blasting outrageous amounts of damage into Dr. Mundo, then watching as he goes on to kill your carry and walk out with more health than he started. True. The extreme tankiness and regeneration are definitely things we believe are core to the Doctor's identity. And ultimately, when you play him, you should feel like taking damage is a problem for other champions. This early in the process, we want to explore a variety of things we could do to ham up this experience even more. So our main goals are, let's check it out. What are the main goals? Number one, give opponents more counterplay options against Dr. Mundo. So other than healing reduction, I guess, because right now the only real counterplay is healing reduction. CCing him is pretty much impossible because he probably gets Merc Boots, he probably gets Legend Tenacity, and he probably goes and activates his W, which is just like, you know, you pretty much can't CC him. So the only real counterplay is healing reduction, which even then doesn't feel like it's enough sometimes. Anyways, number two, increase Mundo's gameplay variance beyond landing cleavers. So I guess right now, I mean, yeah, the only gameplay is just simply, other than literally right-clicking them, the only other gameplay you have with him is you throw a cleaver, and you know, whether it hits or not, right? It doesn't matter too much, but it helps you chase him down, of course, naturally, and Lena, of course, helps you to harass. So I guess they want to increase some kind of gameplay to him so that it's more than just chucking cleavers and right-clicking on an opponent that you probably hit a cleaver on, and that's it. So that seems like that's going to be that. And number three, bring Mundo into the modern era of League without sacrificing his overall simplicity. We haven't landed on the final direction for his kit yet, but here's a few of the things we've tried so far. So the first iteration we tested had Dr. Mundo gain 1 max health, literally a single digit, I think, every time he was hit. Wait, that's okay. That's kind of broken. And we soon after tried other versions of Mundo gaining maxed health by welcoming incoming damage. After a number of tests, it became clear that this was too much of an incentive for bad decision making. Yeah, that is a horrible idea, right? Please don't do that. That is an atrocious idea. Players would often overcommit, intentionally positioning poorly, or seek out really bad trades, so we pivoted slightly to Mundo converting his defensive stats into, you guessed it, more health. After a couple items, his health bar became an absolute unit. Okay, that is... I think each of those is 1,000, by the way. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's about 7,000 HP he has in this screenshot. Obviously, this is missing HP. If this is full, and he's actually full HP, I think it's 1,000 each, 7,000 HP. However, with such a ridiculous amount of health, the champions and items that were strong against Mundo became even stronger, and those that were weak became even weaker. This created even more polarized gameplays or games than current Dr. Mundo, so we ultimately decided to stop pursuing this route. Also, allow me to explain that little line. I think it's talking about this one. Because it's not the execute threshold for Elder Dragon buff. We also tried, it's either this one, or both, I don't know. We also tried giving Dr. Mundo really high health regeneration all the time, but some of the damage rather, he took would lower his max health. The line is showing his current maximum health, which would only recover on a fountain or on death. However, this contradicted the regeneration fantasy by making players feel punished for taking poke damage instead of protected from it, which is not a feeling we want for a masochistic tank. Okay, which kind of makes sense. It also led to some stress and confusion around when to fight, when to recall, and generally managing your max health. Overall, it was too much for poor Mundo's brain to think about, so we moved on to some simpler abilities. Outside of Giga health regeneration, we thought about other tools you'd expect from a Zonite mutant freak. We tried a few things, like a not-so-surgical embedding and ripping out his cleavers, yikes. But the one that we tested the most was a chain-reacting corpse explosion. Okay, so check it out. Oh. Okay. See, the minions' HP are slowly dropping by. So every time something dies in the vicinity, it chains to something beside it. And then they start losing HP. And if they die, I'm assuming within this duration, that it means that something else would, it'll just keep chaining like that. And then it eventually goes to a GP. You can see here, the rest of this one dies. It chains to GP, and then he explodes and dies. That looks so gory. My God, I love it. I actually love it. That looks sick. But it doesn't really fit his fantasy, in my opinion. Because, I don't know. He should be dealing damage to himself. Anyways, while fun, ultimately, this ability felt too zoning-oriented and overall magey for you'd expect from a ripped melee, top laner. Mundo having multiple tools to avoid going into melee didn't fit the character that he visually, nor did he really encourage the type of gameplay we want Mundo to have. We're still in the phase where everything is super crazy and experimental, kind of like Mundo. While none of these explorations have felt quite right, our muscly purple MD will still be one of League's marquee mega tanks. Nice. Okay, that's pretty cool. So it seems like his Q and his regeneration tankiness will still be more or less the same, guys. That's something they're going to keep. And this is things that they tried, but they're not going to keep, which is pretty cool. So throwing cleavers against the wall. Like Fiddlesticks, Dr. Mundo was one of my first loves in League. There's nothing quite like the rush of wading through your foes with a care, or rather without a care in the world, as their carries cry for someone to save them. I mean, that's literally what he is. He literally just goes in, doesn't care about anything. He literally goes where he pleases. I mean, that's essentially what it is. This is some nice, cool little artwork of, I guess, different variations of Mundo that they have done over the time. Now, what the actual F is this? This is from like the Addams Family or something. I like this one, dude. This is like Yorick, but Mundo. I like this one too. It's like Abomination from World of Warcraft. Looks pretty cool. Anyways, we started out with big exploration, plumbing the depths of Zon for direction, revolving around what Mundo is and what Mundo could be. This is my favorite part of design, because we aren't always focused on answering questions, only to ask. And even though this kind of wild dreaming isn't always practical, it can lead to unexpected sparks that inspire a brighter future. Ultimately, the visual fantasies that are at its core and are clear: Doctor and Mundo. The Doctor theme could be approached in many ways, and all of them would be an improvement. So I'm really excited there. Mundo, on the other hand, is that quality of just being Mundo. Some would expect it's indescribable, others pure purple, but I'd eyeball it as being an unkillable, regenerating freak machine that maybe doesn't have the cleanest grip on reality. I mean, that's exactly what I would envision it to be as well. That makes a lot of sense. Here's more like visuals of his head and how he can look like. This looks like Scion or Urgot or something like that, but I like this one. This one looks pretty cool, or like this is like the current one, but more modern. Then you have a bunch of experiments or other versions here. Ogre Mundo, Juiced Up Mundo, Experiment Mundo, Biomance Mundo. That looks pretty cool. Tone is something we are discussing a lot. Some say Mundo is a horrific serial killer. Others a lovable dope. Some even tell me he's quite handsome. We find thinking the right juxtaposition between the comedy and the menace of Mundo will be key, and it's going to be a wild ride. I'm sure the design will go exactly where it wants to. Just a little bit of a pun there on Mr. Mundo going exactly where he wants to. All right, almost done actually. Doctor? Mundo? Reworking Mundo, this is the narrative writer, has been a unique experience from the start. Often when we rework all champions, they're in such a bad shape that some of our changes end up being pretty drastic. On day one of this rework, we all kind of agreed that we like Mundo. So does much of the world. Obviously that didn't mean he couldn't be improved, especially visually. But everyone in the room felt like he filled a unique space in our champion roster, one that we didn't want to abandon entirely. The idea of an unstoppable psycho who can't be hurt, combined with the whole doctor angle, is a goldmine that we wanted to dig into. And the final thing, guys. So the question then became, how did we make him more successful at fulfilling the fantasy of being an unkillable psycho doctor? The next question I asked was exactly how stupid do we want him to be? We thought about making him an actual doctor, perhaps someone who went mad through his own medicine. But that'd be, yeah, it's too similar to Singe, I agree. So we began to experiment with his role as a man who is not a doctor at all, but someone who thinks he's a doctor and is too stupid to know he isn't. I actually like that. That makes a lot of sense. That actually makes a lot of sense. That's exactly what it should be. I like that. We realized that while we have no shortage of crazy champions like Ziggs, Jinx, Kled, to name a few, how many do we really have who are just flat out dumb? Maybe Trundle? But even though Trundle looks pretty smart for a troll, I think, yeah. We also realized that the dumb thing works really well for a guy who's supposedly unaware of what is happening to his own body. No matter where Mundo goes, it's been fun exploring the different potential avenues for his character. So what's next? So he's getting released in 2021, guys. I'm assuming early 2021. So we can expect another blog post towards the end of the year, which I'll make a video about, guys. Don't forget, be subscribed, turn on notifications, so when it's released, you guys are here, ready to go. And as always, let us know what you think, what excites you, what terrifies you, and what is the handsome blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's about it. So there you guys have it, a little bit of a intro, I guess, to the rework of Mundo. So we know, we saw what they've tested. We saw the crazy abilities like this, which are super, super weird. We've seen that they essentially want to keep his Q more or less the same. They want to still keep the thematic of being, this tanky, masochist, regeneration, super tank champion, which is going to be his core kit regardless. And they're going to try to improvise that and make it a little more over the top, I guess. But either way, guys, that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, especially if you're excited. Let me know what you think about it down below. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you for my next video. Peace.